Avoid moving to the wrong area in Raleigh, North Carolina. You know, I've seen this happen hundreds of times. Someone moves to Raleigh, picks a spot that looks perfect, and 6 months later they're stuck with a 45-minute to an hour commute that they never saw coming, or they're bleeding $400 a month in homeowners fees and nobody warned them about it. You know, here's the thing. Raleigh isn't one market, it's 6 distinct regions, and each one fits a completely different lifestyle. So pick the wrong one and you'll feel it every single day. I don't want that for you. So in this video, I'll walk you through each region of Raleigh, who it's actually for, and what to watch out for before you move here. Let me start with how Raleigh breaks down. You've got the inner circle, and that's named for a highway. We call this area inside the Beltline, which is your historic downtown core and the nearest established neighborhoods to the city itself. West Raleigh includes Cary and Morrisville, and it was built starting in 1959 to house workers for Research Triangle Park. Southwest is your Apex and Holly Springs area, where you're seeing the biggest growth right now with new construction that features family-focused communities. South Wake, including Garner and Fuquay-Varina, where you usually get more land, quieter living, and longer commutes. And then East Raleigh covers Zebulon, Knightdale, Roseville, and Wendell. Not Wendell, it's Wendell. And often the most affordable option will be in these areas. And of course, North Raleigh is your premium region with higher prices, established neighborhoods, and lots of upscale shopping and dining. So let's break down each of these areas. First of all is inside the Beltline. This spot isn't one market, it's 2 markets that barely have anything in common. Inside the Beltline refers to everything within Interstate 440, and that's a 16.5-mile loop completed in 1984. This is Old Raleigh, the neighborhoods that existed before the modern sprawl of suburbs took over. The first market is downtown, and it's the condo scene. Downtown has over 10,000 residential units, and the condo market is pretty oversaturated with 2-bedroom units, so you can get a solid deal on a downtown condo right now. The median price is around $450 to $550, but you're going to have higher maintenance fees, and we're talking about $300 to $500 more per month in homeowner association costs, depending on the amenities of your building. So when you add that to your mortgage, your property tax, and your total monthly cost, you might end up higher than buying a house in Apex or Holly Springs. So who actually lives downtown? Well, mostly professionals working in state government, because Raleigh is North Carolina's capital. You've got also NC State students and people who want that walkable city lifestyle. Downtown, you can walk to bars, restaurants, and even parks. You've got the Warehouse District and the Glenwood South with over 150 dining spots downtown. Note, some of our best restaurants are located downtown Raleigh, but if you want a tight neighborhood where you know your neighbors' names, downtown isn't really that. And now step just beyond the downtown core and you're in a totally different world. Historic neighborhoods like Oakwood, Bowling Heights, and Marti all are walkable to downtown. But a bit further out, you've got the old money Raleigh neighborhoods like 5 Points, Bud Lee, Hayes Barton, and Fallon Park. These are very low turnover neighborhoods, and many will sell within hours on the market, not days. Now, in these older neighborhoods, homes have been fully renovated and upgraded like crazy, and they're going well over $1 million, or maybe they need near $1 million worth of work. There's almost no middle ground. 5 Points gets its name from the intersection of Glenwood Avenue and Fairview Road with Whitaker Mill, which creates a literal 5-point intersection. At 5 Points, you can visit the famous Hayes Barton Cafe for lunch. And at Hayes Barton lunch counter, you might sit next to a state government employee or a student from NC State University. Raleigh is called the City of Oaks because people really care about oak trees. And inside the Beltline is where you're going to see the most of that park-like setting. If you want to get a true feel for these older neighborhoods, take a drive down Cowper Drive or White Oak Road, which is especially famous for having a canopy of mature oak trees. And if your drive is in late April or early May, when those trees are in full bloom, this area will take your breath away. Our city is so proud of our City in the Park nickname that we even drop a 10-foot tall, 1,200-pound copper-clad acorn at midnight on New Year's Eve to celebrate this heritage. Long-established families, retirees downsizing from bigger places, and professionals who want historic character and walkability are the ones who live in these historic inside the Beltline neighborhoods. So turnover is so low that a lot of residents have been in the same home for 20 or more years. And if you work at Research Triangle Park, living inside the Beltline can actually help your commute. You can take I-40 straight to RTP, and the drive is about 25 minutes from downtown Raleigh. The Beltline itself is a major choke point during rush hours, but if you live inside it, you can skip a lot of that congestion by heading directly west on I-40. This split market means that you've got to know exactly which version you're buying into before you make an offer. Now, downtown and historic neighborhoods give you walkability and convenience for young professionals who can handle the HOA cost and the more temporary vibe. Older, established neighborhoods give you the character and the roots for buyers with serious money and patience for renovations. Understanding this split protects you from expensive mismatches. And you know what? If commuting convenience to RTP matters to you, here's where it gets interesting, because there's one region that was designed from day one to solve that exact problem, and that was West Raleigh, Cary, and Morrisville. Cary exists because Research Triangle Park was established in 1959, and companies needed somewhere to put employees, and that origin story explains a lot about why this is the most expensive suburb today. Research Triangle Park was built on purpose to house research facilities for companies that wanted to be close to three major universities, NC State, Duke, and UNC Chapel Hill. When RTP launched, companies needed housing fast for employees, and Cary grew as a planned community to meet that need. Morrisville, located directly north of Cary and right next to RDU International Airport, developed in a similar way. This region was literally built to house RTP workers. Cary is the most expensive suburb in the immediate Raleigh area, with the median prices of about $670 as of October 25. The market is somewhat competitive, with homes getting on an average 3 offers and selling in about 46 days. West Cary has an average sales price of $721. Central Cary averages $575,000, and South Cary averages $736,000. South Cary is more expensive than Central Cary because homes usually sit on bigger lots. West Raleigh itself stretches along Hillsborough Street and Western Boulevard and is heavily influenced by NC State University. You will have some of that college town vibe, especially around Hillsborough Street, where neighborhoods near campus have more affordable rental options. NC State was founded in 1887 and is the largest university in the Carolinas. So who lives here? Mostly young professionals working at RTP or nearby tech companies, established families who want suburban comfort with modern amenities, and professionals who want newer construction and convenience. The Cary-Morrisville region has direct, fast access to RTP. Rush hours are usually 7 to 9 a.m. and 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., and I-40 and NC State 147 get the heaviest congestion during those hours. So West Raleigh also blends into Durham. Most of Research Triangle Park is actually in Durham city limits. So even though people think of RTP as Raleigh, Durham and Chapel Hill are in our market, but they're also their own distinct cities. That planned convenience costs more, and the price reflects that purpose-built closeness to big employers. Young professionals who care most about career access and modern amenities usually feel like the trade-off is worth it, especially when RTP commutes are under 20 minutes. But here's the thing, land here is getting harder to find, and when land runs out, developers don't just stop, they shift. And that's why the next region is absolutely explosive exploding right now. Now, if you're seriously considering making a move to Raleigh, there are tons of areas to live and choose from. And if you don't want to pick the wrong one and make sure to find a place that's perfect for you, then reach out. I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell here in Raleigh, and I'd love to help you as well. So all my information is on the screen and in the description below. Seemingly to everyone's surprise, I usually answer the phone, so don't be shocked. Let's move on to Southwest Raleigh, and I'm talking about Apex and Holly Springs. Holly Springs median price jumped double-digit year over year in October 25, and that's not a typo, and it didn't happen by accident. Apex actually grew 5.4% year over year during that same time. Available land in North Raleigh and Cary has gotten so scarce, so new home development keeps getting pushed south. Also, luxury buyers are drawn to these communities because they can get new, high-end construction at competitive prices compared to North Hills or older Cary neighborhoods. Apex median price is $632,500. And it's dominated by new master plan communities with hundreds of homes under construction. So you've got communities like Horton Park, the towns at Horton Park, Huxley, Friendship Village, Young Farm, and Carolina Springs. New construction here ranges from about $276 to an entry level to $660 plus for executive homes. And the people who live here are mainly families or professionals who want new construction and those who like suburban comfort with modern building standards. Now let me tell you about Holly Springs, because this town changed a lot with the opening of UNC Health Rex Holly Springs Hospital on November 1st, 2021. It's a 242,000 square foot, 8-story facility at the corner of Avon Ferry Road and Highway 55. It has 50 inpatient beds, full labor and delivery services, a 24/7 emergency department, operating rooms with advanced robotic surgery capability, and full orthopedic services. With about 400 employees there, that hospital is a big sign that Holly Springs has shifted from a bedroom community to a real regional hub. Major employers usually mean stability, jobs, and long-term infrastructure. Holly Springs has built a real downtown district with local restaurants and lifestyle amenities, which is pretty rare for a suburb. You've got Oakview Commons Sushi, Switch Craft Beer and Cocktails, Image Studios Luxury Salon, Golf Hour Sports Simulator Lounge, and Matcha Asian dessert and tea shop. And stick with me, because when we get to North Raleigh, I'll show you how these suburban dining scenes compare to the more established restaurant concentration there. Established restaurants include Vinny Ristro Bar, an Italian with handmade pasta, Blind Pelican for seafood, and Manhattan Pizza, and A Toro Tacos and Tequila. So Holly Springs has also invested in expanding its village district with mixed-use development, restaurants, hotels, and more mixed-use spaces. So who lives here? Well, family neighborhoods with younger families who want new construction, professional households, and active adult communities. Lots in Apex and Holly Springs are usually bigger than those in Cary, so you often get more land for similar or even lower prices. Holly Springs benefits from being close to NC 540, the outer loop that's currently under construction, and it's expected to seriously improve travel around Raleigh by 2028, both east-west travel and north-south travel. From Holly Springs, you've got quick access to NC 540. You can get to RDU International Airport, and you've got fairly convenient access to Research Triangle Park. If you care about new construction, bigger lots, family-friendly infrastructure like schools and hospitals and parks, and real lifestyle amenities like restaurants and entertainment, Southwest Raleigh is a strong option. This growth and price jump suggests serious ongoing investment, and the trade-off is that it can still feel newer and less established. But that new development energy attracts families who are building their future instead of stepping into somebody else's past. So now all this talk about higher prices and master planned communities might make you think, what if affordability is my biggest concern? Well, that's why we have South Raleigh and Southern Wake, where Fuquay-Varina median price is around $438,000. Garner's median price is around $380,000 to about $408,000. And that's a lot more affordable than anything we've talked about so far. But you've got to understand the trade-offs that come with those numbers. This region is a different lifestyle choice. More green space, less city density, bigger properties, and lower prices. From South Raleigh or Fuquay-Varina, the drive to downtown Raleigh via I-401 is about 20 to 25 minutes. Research Triangle Park from Fuquay-Varina is about 35 to 45 minutes. And this is great for people who want distance from city intensity, but it can be rough for that daily RTP commuters. Let me tell you about Fuquay-Varina specifically. First, it's pronounced Fuquay-Varina, and newcomers often get that wrong. Fuquay-Varina is actually two towns that merged. Fuquay was named for William Fuquay. He was a French Revolutionary War veteran who bought about 1,000 acres in 1805. In the 1850s, a mineral springs was discovered, and it created a health tourism industry with hotels. Varina grew around a railroad station and a post office named after a woman called Varina. The towns still have two separate downtown cores about a mile apart. Varina is to the north and has Aviator Brewing Company. Fuquay Springs to the south has Stick Boy, Mason Jar, and Vicious Fishes. Even with growth, Fuquay-Varina still has farmland and forests. So you've got big box stores like Starbucks, Target, Lowe's, and Home Depot, but they're mostly on the main drag. If you go beyond that commercial corridor into the residential areas, you're going to see fields and countryside and roads with lighter development. There's major new construction happening, especially in communities like Highgrove Oaks, Halston, Elm Park, but the area still keeps that small town character. Fuquay-Varina has a pedestrian plan to improve walkability and connections between downtown, parks, schools, and neighborhoods, but walkability is still limited outside the downtown areas. So living here, we've got buyers who want a quieter lifestyle, people who choose affordability and land over city convenience, and families with lower income limits, and people who work in South Raleigh or can handle longer commute to RTP. There's a big retiree and empty nester population that wants small town character. Garner is the most affordable option in Wake County, with an average home value around $380,000 to $408,000. Garner is described as Wake County's southern gateway to the Triangle, and it includes new development like Renaissance at White Oak and Rollman Farms townhomes. Garner is farther south and less connected to major job centers, so it can feel a bit more rural, even though the commute to downtown Raleigh is shorter. But for people who want affordability and a rural feel, this can be the entry point. Fuquay-Varina has also seen spillover growth into Harnett County and Johnston County, with development pushing beyond Southern Wake. So even though you can get more house for the money, prices are rising. New construction and infrastructure investment have raised land values, and these areas aren't the secret cheap option that they used to be. Still, they're usually way more affordable than North Raleigh or Cary. So this region fits buyers who put affordability and space and rural character ahead of city convenience. So if you work in South Raleigh or if you're retired, this can bring a strong quality of life at a more reachable price point. If you're a daily RTP commuter, that 35 to 45 to even an hour drive takes an honest look at your tolerance for commute time. But Southern Raleigh isn't the only affordable option in the Triangle. There's one more region where prices can drop even lower, and that's Eastern Raleigh. That averages around $415,000 median price, with some neighborhoods as low as $307,000 to $365,000. So if budget is your main limit, this is where you can solve that problem. But if you've got to understand what the trade-offs for that affordability, that region includes Zebulon, Roseville, Wendell, and Knightdale. These towns usually give you the most house for the money, and they attract budget-focused buyers who want the most square footage per dollar. East Raleigh stretches from Capitol Boulevard and the eastern side of I-440 to the Neuse River, and it goes south to Poole Road. Main corridors include US 1, which is Capitol Boulevard, plus Newbern Avenue, Poole Road, Buffalo Road, and New Hope Road. Neighborhoods include Headingham, Longview, Lockwood, Madonna Acres, New Hope, Thompson Hunter, and Wilders Grove. Zebulon was established in 1907 as a railway junction between Raleigh and Wilson. Wendell is described as a safe place. Roseville and Knightdale are both affordable suburbs that offer suburban living while staying close to Raleigh's active city center. East Raleigh communities still feel suburban, and they've got real amenities and the parks for your families. So if you work in downtown Raleigh, expect drives of about 20 to 25 minutes. If you work at RTP, expect commutes of 30 plus minutes without quick freeway access. This region works best for buyers who are most sensitive to price, families who want maximum space, and people whose jobs are in eastern Raleigh or southern Wake areas. So if budget is your main concern, East Raleigh can fix that problem. But don't move here expecting city convenience or walkability. You're choosing affordability and space on purpose. And for families trying to enter the market or choosing room over location, that trade can make total sense. And if that brings us back around, because after looking at all these affordable options, you might be wondering about the other end of the spectrum. What exactly are buyers paying for when they choose the most expensive region in the triangle, North Raleigh? North Raleigh has a median price of $469, with premium neighborhoods like North Hills around $724 median price, and North Ridge reaches $2 to $5 million. Buyers pay those premiums for maximum convenience and a cluster of upscale amenities that they can't really find anywhere else in the Triangle. This area is known for higher prices, newer construction, or tear down lots and establish communities, maximum convenience, and concentrated upscale shopping and dining. The housing market is somewhat competitive, with homes getting about one offer on average and selling in about 37 to 38 days. October 2025 had 292 homes sold, with prices up 0.8% year over year, and price per square footage up 6.6% year over year. North Raleigh is growing more slowly than Southwest, where Apex and Holly Springs are up 5% to 25%. That usually suggests that the market is maturing and prices are stabilizing. North Hills is a $1 billion mixed-use development project by Kane Realty, and it's turned the region into a premium hub for retail, dining, office space, and housing. You've got retail like Target, Veronica Beard, Kendra Scott, and the Charlotte Boutique. You've also got nicer dining and bars like Firebird's Wood-Fired Grill, Croquette's French Restaurant, RH Rooftop, Capital City Grill, and Neuse River Brewing for brewery. New additions in 2025 include Good Graces, which is a market, bar, and restaurant that runs all day Friday and Saturday, and Peregrine, which is fine dining by Chef Ramen. For families and young professionals, this is a spot. You've got easy access to space, amenity, and suburban living with city convenience. North Raleigh gives you one of the most convenient locations for getting to RTP via I-40, downtown Raleigh, and the airport, but you're still dealing with Beltline congestion during rush hours, which are 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Here you might be paying for established infrastructure, concentrated lifestyle amenities, and fewer compromises between career access and quality of life. The difference between picking the right neighborhood and the wrong one comes down to matching your priorities to your real daily life and not just chasing numbers on Zillow. So if you're ready to find your right fit neighborhood in Raleigh before inventory tightens this spring, email me at marti@martihampton.com and let's talk about your situation. I've guided hundreds of families through this decision for over 35 years, and my phone number and all contact details are in the description below. Now, if this video helped, check out the tier list I linked where I rank every major Raleigh suburb from S tier down to avoid at all cost. Some of these placements are going to surprise you, especially where North Raleigh actually lands. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.